Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your night to join me. I really appreciate it. I think we're on video 5 today. Hey, listen, I do nothing, right? It's just like the 4 streams a day is sometimes even something that's hard to do, and that I try to entertain y'all in the best way that I can, also while being completely honest, transparent, and accountable. Again, these are things on my platform that I will never astray from because, again, I want to be of help, in service in the future to people and stuff. And so that's far more valuable than any sort of individual goal that I might have for my own silly little life in terms of I don't really even think about myself at all. Maybe sometimes to my own detriment in that way, right? I'm a part of a team and I just want to be a good team member. That's all. And so it was weird because this morning I woke up in a really funky mood because of what's going on in my personal life with this woman who is, currently is a friend of my roommates and stuff. And so I had that to deal with, right? And so I made a video because as I was explaining to my roommate the other day, I was like, I hope people understand that, like, as they see these vlogs and stuff, that, like, this is my life, good or bad, this is it, and it's cool because I'm not trying to sell you on my lifestyle, right? In that, like, hey, authenticity and that genuine sort of raw kind of content, stems from the creator and how they convey their messages and stuff. And so I've really tried to make it a mission in these nearly 500 videos to present myself in a manner that is, absolutely indicative of who I am off camera. And other than just not talking as much, when I'm off camera, I'm very, very much this person, and it's something that I've learned to live with, right? Because I'll be 37 soon and I grow and we all do. And, unfortunately, again, in my own personal opinion, I have terrible parents. And I know that they're going to hate hearing that or whatever. But the problem is that I still love them. Because, like, as a kid, we all want to love our parents or whatever. But am I not allowed to think they're terrible parents because of the way I've been treated? And I was having this conversation with my brother the other day or whatever, but it's sort of like, yeah, I talk about a lot of things, right? And I'm not always so silly, and there are some real sensitive topics to me, obviously because, I'm not a monster and I am, I have feelings about stuff, right? And I know I do a pretty good job of putting the veil up, and having this sort of narcissistic aura about, like, and again, admittedly, right, in terms of just the the conveyance of some of the kinds of things I try to get across and how I try to get them across in terms of, like, especially now as I get older, not even willing to compromise with things that are just demonstratively false and policies that are antiquated and public agendas that are completely false in narrative, which is why I've also learned that, like, I need to make a stand, right? And so all of this is real interesting stuff. Growing up, being chronically unemployed, both for individual reasons as well as real life reasons in terms of, I dare say there are hardly any people my age out there right now currently looking at any sort of viable career long term aspects, just because we live in a changing world right now and the economic model will inevitably change sooner than later. And so I just personally think that I have more time that will be spent in a positive way advocating and trying to build a career that I can then use to influence some of the kinds of things I really feel strongly that other people are going to be interested in, not only receiving but supporting. In that, like, boomers will go away, all the older generations, and as those people get older and leave, it's real important that we leave a good, long lasting sort of impression on Gen Z, and Alpha. And so, yeah, like, a lot goes through my mind on a daily basis. And I feel really, I've said it, I feel liberated because, I mean, I think for about 6 weeks now, I made a video about it, right? But, like, this stranger had come out and tried to attack me about some personal things that had gone on in my life, restraining orders, stuff like this. And again, it's sort of like, yeah, it's publicly available. It's why I'm allowed to talk about it, and we make mistakes, but I really got upset when I was accused of something that I've never even been possible. Like, I never could have even imagined, like, in terms of just, I know it's complicated and it's confusing, and on the surface area of things, I definitely am an absent father, but it's not because like I want to be, or it's not because um, for any reason. Like, in terms of just, I got myself into a situation, right? And just as in anything in life, I'm, not just like intrinsic, like mentally or emotionally responsible, right? I've also, incurred a lot of debt as a result of my lack of financial responsibility, and it concerns my offspring, and I made some terrible decisions, and yeah, I have no family support in terms of people who are actually there for me, and that's tough, because again, like, it gets so personal for me that, like, I try to be close to my siblings and stuff, but like, this is at the detriment of my own relationship with my parents, because my parents, again, like, have put me in a situation where I have to bail them out, and I've always felt like their parents. And yeah, this is all public, absolutely. Like, again, so to think that, there's not a time in my life where I'm not called out on everything I've said or ever will say is false. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that if I'm ever going to open my mouth about anything, I'm going to hear, feedback about it. And that's what I'd expect. I'm a trained communicator. I'm not just saying things to just say them, actually. I'm not a teacher. I'm not interested in professing or, preaching anything. I just simply want to discuss the truth, and I want to be able to have an opportunity to give my opinion on things that I feel like other people want to give their opinion about, but for many different variables in their own life are unable to, because they live within a system that requires their obedience, and the moment that that obedience is sort of tested is the very moment that your life is impacted, most often in the most negative way possible. And other than like that being super vindictive and wrong and harmful, it's just something that fortunately I don't have to worry about, because I don't have a job. I'm not making money, but in that same regard, I am very concerned, obviously, about getting financially right with my daughter's mom, in terms of like the amount agreed upon as a result of me not showing up for court because I was in Arizona, like, and the default judgment and all these things. Like, I mean, like, this is tough stuff to talk about. You feel me? I mean, like, the fact that I'm choosing to talk about it, should say something, in that, like, again, all I'm trying to do is live my life. That's all. I'm just trying to build a channel here on YouTube. I'm trying to be accountable for my actions. I'm trying to, and again, I'm not going to live in a world where when people try to do those things, they're vilified, and like try to get canceled because of some weird feeling that strangers have, like, seriously, like, I think we all experience these things, right? And vicariously, I feel like some subs and viewers at home can live through my perspectives and my faults and my decisions, just based on the idea that, like, I'm very much interested in learning from my mistakes. I'm very much interested in making things better, but like, I mean, am I a monster that, like, it took me so long to realize? I mean, I guess, in terms of like, yeah, right, obviously I should have been this mature and more responsible 10 years ago, but I'm not gonna, like, like, ruin my life because of decisions that I made in, obviously, a state that I wouldn't normally make them in, right? Like, as not just as a result of my age, my maturity, my lack of family support, all these things, I've managed to accomplish a lot of things in my life, solo, all on my own, from like just really cool things. I've done a lot. I'm not here to sit on my bar stool anytime, and say, but I've been very privileged, and so I don't understand sometimes why people are so vindictive and they're so hateful. It blows my mind, because like I don't feel like that about anything other than like myself and the mistakes that I've made. I don't channel any of my anger on anybody that doesn't deserve it, right? Because like ultimately, like I got to live with myself, and I learned that a long time ago. So like I think that's the biggest part of growing up, because otherwise you really do think like you're some sort of superhero and you're trying to run out there and troll the world into wanting to give you attention and things like that. It is sort of like it's so easily recognizable. And I don't know. So today was an interesting day, but um, what are you gonna do? Seriously, what are you gonna do? And I know that I am not going to sit around and do nothing. I mean, we already professionally do that. So why on earth would I do that, when when people are trying to make me look a certain kind of a way? That is, again, it'd be one thing if it were true, right? I mean, seriously, you got to call people out on the truth, but to make things up, to, pretend that you're Sherlock Holmes and you know the answers to all of life's mysteries, I think that in itself is a pretty big show of how somebody else has way more problems than you, in terms of like, hey, at least I ain't got those problems. I could never possibly imagine like looking somebody up, and then like finding out bad stuff about them, and then like that's garbage, dude. Like especially when it's not true. But I guess hey, people make a living off doing that stuff. Have you seen all the videos that are trying to tear down Mr. Beast? You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean the world, all these guys, especially the ones saying like, they're not about drama or conflict or whatever. That's exactly what they're about. They want conflict, they want drama. And dare I say it's because they lack the inability to actually think about their actions, to think about how their actions affect other people and how words impact other people and things like this, and then again to take things out of such false pretext and then to run with that. It's sort of like, I mean, it's insane, and so yeah, it's been an interesting day, but I appreciate all the new subs and viewers. If you're not already a subscriber, consider doing so. It really helps out the channel a bunch. We just hit 1,000 subscribers recently. The comments are back open, so I hope that you guys have a really good night. Okay, bye.